Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Examiner Community Awards in association with Syngenta. Please put your hands together for the editor of the Huddersfield Examiner, Wayne Ankers.
Good evening and welcome to the first ever virtual Examiner Community Awards supported by Syngenta. This is an event that I am immensely proud to be involved in, and one that we knew we had to continue with despite the unprecedented challenges we have faced over the last several months. Since March, we have been working from home, juggling homeschooling and dealing with the impact of coronavirus, whether that has been felt with somebody close to us being struck by the virus or simply the ongoing worries that we all face health-wise and financially. But the one thing that has remained strong throughout all this, and something which has been so evident in Huddersfield and across Kirklees, has been the community spirit. We've done stories of those going the extra mile to help others, streets that have become communities within themselves through social and fitness activities, as well as those who have put their own health to one side to continue working and helping fight this cruel killer. All of this is the main reason why we wanted to host these events online and celebrate everything that is amazing about our communities. The awards were launched and judged before the crisis took hold, but we have ensured that we've been able to reflect the tremendous work that has gone on across Kirklees, and I am sure that there will be even more recognition for those who have risked their lives and gone the extra mile for others in our 2021 awards. During my 3.5 years at the Examiner, I've been astounded by the people who make this town and wider area of Kirklees tick. Those people are the people and their passion which we will be celebrating tonight. There is always a desire, drive and belief within the people of Huddersfield and Kirklees, a never say die attitude that sits alongside the caring and compassionate side of the people. Our website, Yorkshire Live, and the Examiner's front pages might not always reflect this, but look deeper into our coverage and flick through the paper and you will find those inspirational stories. It is why events like this are more and more important to the Examiner and Yorkshire Live. It allows us to stay connected with our communities. The website and paper are in the town to make sure we celebrate the people that make Huddersfield and Kirklees so special. And that is all you will hear about throughout this evening. There are stories of triumph against the odds, selfless devotion, bravery, and outstanding community spirit. You will be told about people who have excelled at sport and volunteers who have done amazing work for their communities and charities. It is these stories that make Huddersfield the fantastic town it is, and we at the Examiner are very fortunate to be part of this community and to be able to relay these stories to you. Every week we discover a story about individuals who go the extra mile to help others, carry out selfless acts as part of their daily jobs, or decide to do something different to make their community a better place to live. And that has been so evident over the last few weeks and months as we have all coped with the new norm of staying at home. And most of the people are not doing this for publicity. They're doing it because it is right for their community. One such person who cares for his community is the Examiner's former head of content, Andy Hurst, who I am glad to say we have welcomed back this year to help coordinate this year's judging and features on our finalist. Likewise, Katie Isaacson, who heads up our events team, has developed this virtual event format for us to make sure that we can hold this year's awards. Alongside Carl Sykes from Syngenta, who I must say have been tremendous supporters of this event, Andy and Katie have worked through a large amount of entries, and each decision on a winner was a difficult one. When you hear the stories behind these entries, I'm sure you will be stunned. You may even shed a tear or two, especially hearing about the lifesavers in the emergency response and courage categories, the bravery of our young personality, and the lengths people go to just to be a friend to somebody else in their community. However, tonight is not just about the winners. Being nominated in the first place is a huge achievement. No matter who takes the accolades tonight, all our nominees are already winners in our eyes. I'd just like to end by saying a huge thanks to our main sponsors, Syngenta, as well as category sponsors, Kirklees Stadium Development Limited, Perry's Huddersfield, Ramsden Solicitors, City Fibre, Simply Biz, and 117 Charitable Trust. I would like to thank our hosts, Andy Hurst and ITV newsreader Nina Hussain, and hopefully we will all be back at the John Smith Stadium in 2021 to celebrate those who have kept our communities going through this crisis. I'd now like to hand over to Cal Sykes, Community Relations Manager at Syngenta, who will say a few words before we get down to the business of announcing the winners.
Thank you, Wayne. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy that Syngenta are sponsoring these awards. I look forward to them every year, and I appreciate you giving me a few moments just to say thank you to some people. Firstly, for all key workers across society, supermarket staff, delivery drivers, postal workers, teachers, pharmacists, emergency services staff and farmers. So many people have gone above and beyond in the last few months, and my Syngenta colleagues have done the same, working throughout lockdown, playing their part in the food supply chain, giving farmers the tools they need to give us the food we need. I pay special tribute to NHS staff for being on the front line in very stressful circumstances. Last year, who knew how much we would need your skills and services? And like we did, and I did every Thursday night from the top of my drive, I applaud you. A big shout out to the Examiner for committing to these awards, not just this year, but every year. It would have been easy for the Examiner to cancel or postpone this year's awards, but they rang me and described how they wanted to follow through and deliver a programme that would still recognise our community champions. And I'm glad they were innovative and resilient in their approach. And thanks to all of the category sponsors, all of these businesses have got behind these awards and followed through. Things are different, we're on screen, we're digital, and we are most likely at home, but your backing is so important in making them happen. Finally, I thank you, our viewers, our nominees, and our finalists. I know you hope to win your category listing tonight, but listen, someone somewhere has nominated you and your group to recognise you or your group for the great things you do. And not only that, you've been shortlisted to be here where many have not. I know that you all give so much and ask for nothing in return in your drive to make a difference. As a resident, I thank you so much for your contribution and your continued dedication and passion. You're all champions. Have a great evening, and I invite you to be rightly proud of your achievements. Take care and well done.
Please welcome to the stage your hosts for this evening, Nina Hussain and Andy Hurst.
Good evening and the warmest of welcomes to the Examiner Community Awards 2020 style. You've already noticed things are going to be a tad different around here tonight. For a start, none of you are in the room where it happens, and you have no idea what I'm wearing on my feet. We may be virtual in a secret lockdown location, but one thing has not changed. Tonight is all about you. Tonight is still a big celebration of every single nominee who has helped make Huddersfield such a very special place. Tonight is some respite from the pandemic we are all living through right now. It is lovely to be back with some of my Examiner family tonight. A tad surreal to see them before I've seen my own mum. She's shielding, not too long to wait now till we see her, and hopefully she might be watching as well this evening. It's a real shame not to be able to meet any of you this evening, and as we've already heard, hopefully by next year we will all be able to be back together in person, but we still want you to have a very special, significant evening with your nearest and dearest. You utterly deserve it. So hopefully you've got your glad rags on, your pizzas and cocktails at the ready, and you are looking forward to a night I don't think any of us will ever forget. Lots of changes, but there is one constant. I have been reunited with my old mucker Andy Hurst, who will now guide you through how this year's awards are going to work. Andy.
Okay, well, thanks, Nina. Now, rolling on the screen behind me, you're seeing images of projections of clapping hands and the hashtag phrase, I clap for, which are being projected onto buildings and landmarks nationwide to thank the NHS staff and all frontline workers for the fantastic work they are doing now, and especially over the last 3 months to keep the country going. The clapping hands were devised by Huddersfield artist Ian Berry, who used to go to Newsham High School, and that's the same one that Nina went to. And it's his way of thanking all those brilliant people who have done so much for all of us. Now, he's planning something special for the NHS's 72nd birthday next week, so stay tuned and then all will be revealed in the coming days. It's been my privilege to write the stories about all our finalists, and this evening you'll hear tales of dedication, kindness, supreme achievements and outstanding courage, and you'll meet personalities along the way you're not likely to forget. The judging by representatives from the Examiner and executive sponsor Syngenta has been incredibly difficult again this year, as you'll see. And although the nature of awards means someone wins, everyone, and I mean everyone, who made the shortlist would have been a very worthy winner. Please bear that in mind. Tonight is about showcasing some wonderful people and the great work they are doing right across our communities. So here's the format. For each category, we'll tell you a bit about each nominee, and by the magic of Zoom, they will all appear on the screen. Nina or myself will say a few words about each one, and then the category sponsor will tell us what the judges have had to say about the winner, and then reveal the name. Nina and I will then speak to the winner. So, just as on Big Brother, please do not swear in the sheer excitement of it all, as there will be children watching and your nan, and she don't like bad language. The trophies, along with the winners and finalist certificates, should all arrive at your homes tomorrow, first thing in the morning, all being well. Take photos of yourselves with them and then share them on social media. Animated logos should be sent to you this evening for you to use too. Feel free to tweet about the awards as they happen. The Twitter name is @CommunityAwards, and please use hashtag ECA2020. That's hashtag ECA2020. Let's all get the good news out there along with photos of your pizza and cocktail creations, no matter how good or bad they look. I mean, we're all friends here. I mean, we tried the recipe earlier and it certainly worked for us. In fact, Nina's still eating hers.
I'll put it away, promise.
She's got a cocktail under there as well.
No vodka in it.
Okay, let's get the evening underway. Now, first of all, Nina is going to talk about a very special youngster from Huddersfield. And when she's finished, we'd like everyone to give him a massive round of applause. And all our nominees will appear on screen too. Now, it's the only time you're going to see them on screen together. Okay, over to you, Nina.
Thanks, Andy. We begin tonight then with a tribute to 10-year-old Reuben Walder from Holmfirth, who was nominated and shortlisted in our Young Personality category. Reuben showed incredible courage against his cancer battle, but we are very sad to report that he passed away with his family by his side a month ago on May the 30th. Reuben became ill 2 years ago after losing his mum, Kathy Temple, to breast cancer in January 2017, aged just 33. In May 2019, doctors diagnosed Reuben with an exceptionally rare kind of malignant brain tumour that led to surgery and the most gruelling chemotherapy imaginable. His positivity throughout everything he endured was truly inspirational. His stepmom, Liz, said, "Reuben loved, nurtured and cared for everyone in his family. He helped mould us all into better versions of ourselves, and for that I think we are all eternally grateful." Please join me in a round of applause for Reuben. Thank you. As ever, there's always a poignant moment in the Examiner Awards, and that's how we've started tonight, so I do appreciate you joining us for that. Let's move on to our first category of the evening, and it's for Friend of the Year. The nominations are Aruna Satrachandra, Kev Bauer from Northern Fitness Gym, and One Big Family. Let's start with Anora. Anora is the ultimate friend to some of the most vulnerable people in our community. He is a member of Shared Lives, a scheme run by Kirklees Council, which recruits carers to support adults with additional needs, ranging from people with learning or physical disabilities to those with mental health needs, the elderly, or people living with dementia and their families. Anora, who is 59, invites the people he cares for into his home, offering a safe place of refuge in emergency situations instead of them going into care homes. Laura Betterson from Shared Lives said, Anora is an advocate of independence and helps and nurtures individuals to help them move on and achieve their dreams of a more independent life. He is a very caring, compassionate and understanding gentleman.
Okay, moving on to Kev Bauer. Kev runs a gym in the Colne Valley, but he's transformed it into a community hub. The 37-year-old Kev's Northern Fitness Gym has the hashtag motto, more than just a gym, which supports the members physically and mentally, and they also raise thousands of pounds for charity, especially the Yorkshire Air Ambulance, local sports team and Colne Valley-based charity Rudy's Retreat. Kev set up a charity called Hashtag for Ronan, a new community interest company in memory of 17-year-old Ronan Costello, who tragically died while playing for the Huddersfield Giants Academy under-19 side in 2016. It sets challenges for young people in Huddersfield to encourage and nurture the same attributes that Ronan displayed, including teamwork, effort, respect and discipline. Kev was nominated by member Sarah Jacobs, who said, "Everyone considers Kev a friend. He is an incredible human."
One Big Family. Volunteers from One Big Family work tirelessly to help the homeless in Huddersfield. They provide essential items ranging from toiletries to clean clothes. They talk to those needing support and point them towards other services which can help them find a new life away from the streets. They often accompany people they help to appointments and interviews, visit them when they are in hospital, or support them with other problems that blight their lives, from mental health issues to alcohol and other addictions. One Big Family works closely with other organisations such as Kirklees Council's Rough Sleeper initiative to share information and concerns about rough sleepers and then help them to find accommodation and set them up in their new homes. The charity's founder, Elizabeth Shaw, said, "Most importantly, we offer a hug and a good old chat." Okay, to reveal the first winner of tonight, here is the Huddersfield Examiner's Advertising Account Manager, Heather Tarbert.
Hi, good evening. We have 3 excellent nominees, but the winner takes the meaning of friendship to a very special level. By welcoming people in need into his home to give them the complete care and support, the winner is Anora Sarachandra.
Anora, congratulations on being our first winner of this evening. How does it feel?
I don't know, I can't say in words at all, Nina. And absolutely, I'm really, really happy. Excellent. Thank you very much for everyone who nominated me for the community award thing. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Anora, who have you got with you this evening to celebrate with?
I got my wife, and I'm caring for one young lad who came to me just before the lockdown, and he's there, but he's a bit shy to come out. So he's here to celebrate that with us.
Anora, lots of people help lots of other people, and lots of people have helped other people through lockdown. You, as you've just described, help people in their own homes. That is really special, isn't it? What are the qualities do you think are needed to be such a very good friend?
Well, I just don't know, honestly, because you have to have the right temperament, and you have to have kind of a big heart, I think. And I just done a bit for me, like, because I've been learning disability nurse for over the last 30 years, working for NHS, and I retired 5 years ago. And then again, I started, just helping out for the people who need support. So with my previous experience, I kind of, I got the skills and the right temperament to support people, like, without any hesitation, I can just kind of go and support someone. I don't know, it's just taking a challenge, I guess.
I just want to bring your wife in for a quick question. What do you think of your husband?
Bad man.
Like I'm helping him too for what he's doing as a shared life carer. So it's something new for me. I'm learning a lot from him and entertaining whoever come to us. And I find it interesting.
Guys, you're doing an absolutely wonderful job. Thank you very much for being our first very worthy winner tonight. Anura, thank you and have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent start. Right, moving on to our second category this evening. It's the Young Personality Award, sponsored by Simply Biz, and the nominations are JD Shamsuddin Roberts and Kate Spur. We'll start with JD, who has played a vital role setting up a new youth group that's helping to transform the lives of young people in the Dalton, Rawthorpe and Leeds Road areas. The Keep It Real youth group now deals with issues affecting the lives of young people, from mental health to gang culture and crime. During the summer holidays, the group organises sports and activities for young people, including helping residents with gardening and other tasks they would normally struggle to do. When one of JD's friends, 15-year-old Caitlin Dawson from Dalton, was killed in a road tragedy on Wakefield Road in Moll Green in January 2018, JD became a pivotal figure, arranging memorial events, including helping to arrange a dance show at the LBT to celebrate Caitlin's life. 18-year-old JD was nominated by Keep It Real director Estella Dick, who said she has helped her peers to get their voices heard. JD is so popular and mature beyond her years.
Kate Spur. Kate has a drive and determination way beyond her years in her commitment to improving herself and inspiring others to do the same. During her 4 years as a pupil at Lindley Junior School, the 12-year-old took part in every sport she could, from rugby to rounders, helping or leading teams to become Kirklees and Yorkshire champions. Kate is the under-16 girls club champion at Huddersfield Lawn and Tennis Club and now helps children aged 4 to 6 there who are just taking up the sport. Her teacher, Vicky Mortimer, said Kate joined every sports club and competed in all the sports competitions, festivals and tournaments. She had a committed and strong desire to learn and improve, bringing an enthusiasm for continuous improvement in every training session and in every competition, tournament or festival. Kate wants to become as good as possible, not just for herself, but for her team and her school. To reveal the winner in this category, here's a very well-known Huddersfield personality. It's Simply Biz chairman Ken Davey, who is also chairman of the Huddersfield Giants.
Good evening, everyone, and many thanks, Nina. Earlier this evening, we heard a tribute for Reuben Walder, who had been nominated in this important category. But sadly, Reuben passed away just over a month ago. The judges felt that all three young people were highly inspirational in different ways. So I'm delighted to say that they have decided to make them joint winners.
Oh, big smiles from both of you there. JD, if I can start with you, I hope you don't mind sharing this brilliant honour this year.
No, that's great. Listening to everyone, it sounds like everyone's done such a good job, so yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, a little bird told me that during lockdown, you haven't been at home, you got stranded outside of Huddersfield. Where were you and how did you eventually get back?
I was in a small island called Carriacou. It's just off Grenada in the Caribbean. I was meant to go for 11 days, but I ended up being there 11 weeks. And to get back, we had to get the boat to Grenada, then the plane from Grenada to Trinidad, then Trinidad to Barbados, and from Barbados we eventually got home.
Oh, it sucks to be you. I think you're a double winner, aren't you? That's incredible. Let's speak to Kate now.
Okay, Kate. It must be unusual seeing you sat down, I would imagine.
Yeah.
All that sport you're doing. Out of all the many sports you do, and the list goes on and on, which is your favourite and why?
I play tennis the most, so I'd say tennis, and I like to help people play tennis as well.
And who's your favourite tennis player?
Andy Murray.
Yay!
Excellent, excellent. Any plans in terms of tennis? Whereabouts are you? I think you're a club champion, aren't you?
Yeah.
So Huddersfield Lawn Tennis Club, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just keeping on that good work. And then I think you do a lot of training of youngsters as well on a Saturday, is it?
Yeah, I help younger kids to learn to play tennis.
Brilliant. Okay, well, keep up the good work. Very well done, both of you. Okay, moving on to our third category, which is Creative Kirklees, and the three nominees are Batley Poets, Fair and Funky, and Music and Memory. First up is Batley Poets. 8 years ago, a poetry session was held at Batley Library during the first Batley Festival. It was the start of something which just grew, and no one could have envisaged that Batley now has a vibrant poetry community that has proved to be inspirational to the area. A group called Batley Poets has been set up, and its website, batleypoets.co.uk, as you'd expect, features more than 150 poems from 50 poets, with lots more being loaded up all the time. Poets are now drawn to the group from across Kirklees, and they have taken part in countless community events, such as Interfaith Weeks, while encouraging children in Batley schools to write poetry. Founder Mohammed Salou said, "Batley Poets is a stage to share pain, sorrow and tears which could not be shared anywhere else. There is more to Batley Poets than just poetry. There is a sense of safety, a place to share without judgment."
Fair and Funky raise awareness of global challenges surrounding the environment, recycling, climate change and fair trade. This community interest company was founded by the teacher Helen Robinson and artist Sophie Bebb, and it often gets these vital messages across in an arty way, such as their Scraptastic workshops, along with a book which reveals how to transform recyclable plastics, cardboard, fabric, paper and plastic bottles into works of art. They're very active in the fair trade movement and organise school conferences and upcycling fashion events to show people how they can do more to protect the world's environment. Their motto is to empower people to take their own small steps to change the world. They were nominated by Janet Bebb, who said, "Fair and Funky are a force to be reckoned with. They're a powerhouse of ideas and energy. They are imaginative, creative, unstoppable and unique. They deserve this recognition for all they put into the community."
Okay, our third nominee is Music and Memory. Music can be incredibly powerful, never more so than when it's used in therapy to help people with dementia or disabilities that affect their memory. That's what Music and Memory in Huddersfield is all about, using music in a therapeutic way to greatly enhance people's emotional and mental health well-being. They not only listen to music, and that's from Bon Jovi to Frank Sinatra, from Italian folk songs to Bob Marley, but they also make it themselves by playing all kinds of instruments. For instance, one member called Lena lived a lonely, isolated life until she joined the group and has now forged new relationships with others her own age who are also living with memory issues. Group facilitator Rebecca Parnaby-Rook said, "Our hope would be that we serve as an example of what can be done and inspire others to follow our lead." And here on screen to reveal the winner is Diana Shalgi from Syngenta.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Andy. There's three superb groups all doing amazing things to help or inspire others, but the winner has been working tirelessly to raise awareness of the big issues of recycling, climate change and fair trade. The award goes to Fair and Funky.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me? Is that Sophie?
It is, yeah, hiya.
Hiya. Right, now we get the fair bit from Fairtrade, but tell us a bit about the funky side.
We do things in a way that people don't normally do things. We like to think outside the box while changing the world at the same time. It's no big deal or anything.
Oh, I think it might be. I mean, do you think that people are far more aware of green issues now than they were perhaps just 5 years ago? And obviously your kind of organisation is really helping, but there seems to be a growing awareness.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that the children that we work with are really, really keen to learn more about and develop their knowing of global issues and change the world both locally and globally. So it's all about taking lots of little steps to change the world that you can do day to day, but have a huge impact on the greater world around us.
Excellent. Well, keep up the good work. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, all the best for the future.
Thank goodness thank goodness for the children and of course to Sophie and Fair and Funky there. Congratulations. Moving on to our fourth category this evening, it's the Community Event of the Year, and the finalists are Huddersfield Pride, Lindley Community Weekend, and Linthwaite Lead Boilers Festival. Let's start with Huddersfield Pride. This is an event that gives people pride in Huddersfield's diversity. The Huddersfield Pride event in 2019 featured a variety show at the LBT Theatre, along with a host of fringe events, including family fun activities. A spokesperson for Huddersfield Pride said, as well as supporting and celebrating the LGBTQ+ community in the town, Huddersfield Pride aims to bring all people together, increase understanding and make sure everyone knows that Huddersfield is a place to be proud. Pride 2019 was organised by the University of Huddersfield Students' Union, working with the LGBTQ+ community and organisations across Kirklees.
Right, moving on to Lindley Community Weekend. It's known simply as the Big Weekend in Lindley, and with good reason. The event, organised by Lindley Community Group, is run for 3 days on the last weekend in June, although this year it will take place on the weekend of October the 16th, 17th and 18th due to the coronavirus crisis, so please be sure to support it on those dates if you can. It's been held for more than a decade and includes a Friday street party, a Saturday carnival, and on the Sunday, a 10k road race and a 2k junior fun run. It's a massive weekend to organise, which involves countless hours of hard work put in by a dedicated band of volunteers. Volunteer Casey Hewitt said, "The carnival brings the community together and the group puts its heart and soul into making it such a successful event."
Linthwaite Lead Boilers Festival. The bizarre name stretches back to the days of the English Civil War, and it's a great annual community event that has now been running for 3 years. Linthwaite Lead Boilers Festival has one aim in mind: to bring the community together to have a good time while helping one of Huddersfield's most loved charities, the Welcome Centre. You'll hear more about them later on tonight. Attractions on the day range from live music and performances from schools to a football competition and a community tug-of-war, with collections raising money for the Welcome Centre Food Bank to help people in crisis. Committee member Liz Quinn said the festival was restarted in 2018 after comments that Linthwaite had little community spirit, no centre, nothing to be proud of. It is free to attend, so anyone can come and join in with their community, irrespective of finances, age or background. Here to reveal the winner is the Mayor of Kirklees, Councillor Mumtaz Hussain.
Good evening. I'm delighted to join you tonight. It gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the Community Event of the Year category. The winner has taken the essence of a great day out and transformed it into a wonderful weekend of fun. And the winner is Lindley Community Weekend.
Hal Burke, I think you're there representing Lindley. You looked a bit surprised to win that category.
Yeah, surprised and shocked and absolutely delighted, obviously, that the community group have been recognised for all the hard work, dedication into all of the years.
How hard is it in this year in particular? It's hard enough to organise an event, but to organise a moving date as well.
It's been very difficult, but what we do, we work with everybody else. We work with lots of different groups and organisations. It has been difficult, but we do have a provisional date in October to move these events to. So that part has been tricky, but we've got a good support network and hard-working, dedicated volunteers.
Yeah, how many have you got? How many volunteers does it take to get the show on the road?
Well, overall, for the full community weekend of events, we've got up 40 plus volunteers. We also tap into using volunteers and students from Kirklees College. We've got lots of volunteers and helpful people within the community, and also a hard-working committee who do the bulk of the work throughout the year. And they're the people really who are the engine of what happens. And also the local elected representatives are very helpful in supporting and providing funding.
Well, look, have a great evening tonight, and we'll keep everything crossed that it gets to go ahead this year, a little later than planned in October. Have a brilliant evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much to you and to the Examiner for the awards. Thank you.
OK, moving on to our fifth category. It's Sports Team of the Year. And the nominations are Linthwaite Athletic Football Club's first team, Shelley College Under-16s Rugby League team and Shepley Cricket Club. First up is Linthwaite Athletic Football Club's first team. In 2014, Linthwaite Athletic Football Club was on the verge of losing its league status due to unfulfilled fixtures. Former manager Alan Wadsworth then returned to save the club, and by the end of the 2019 season, Linthwaite had reached an all-time high, finishing champions of Division 1, the first Colne Valley team to win Division 1 for more than 80 years. They also won the Barlow Cup, which is a trophy competed for by teams in the top 2 Huddersfield and District divisions, and were the first Colne Valley side to do it since 1973. They also reached the semi-finals of the Huddersfield Challenge Cup, and if all that's not enough, they also reached the semi-finals of the West Riding Cup. In the unfinished 2019-20 season, the team was unbeaten after 12 games. Alan revealed that the secret of the success is Linthwaite's phenomenal team spirit. He said it's very rare to manage a team that are very close both on and off the pitch. To have a team that do not argue or fall out during games, but instead encourage and back each other up is one of our main attributes.
Shelley College Under-16s Rugby League team. The Under-16s Rugby League team suffered the anguish of losing in a regional cup final 3 years ago. The mark of a great team and the strength of character of its players is that they can overcome such a crushing blow and bounce back. Well, since then, Shelley have not lost a match again and won the Yorkshire Plate Cup for the next 2 years, and in the 2019 final came back from 16-6 down at half-time to beat Castleford High. More than 30 school teams take part in the competition. The team's coach, PE teacher Andy Morris, said, after their defeat in the 2017 final, they have not looked back and have gone from strength to strength, which is an amazing achievement. They are a credit to the college. They have a fantastic team spirit and work ethic. It's been a fantastic journey for the team.
Our third nominee are Shepley Cricket Club. Shepley Cricket Club will be 150 years old next year and has just won one of the oldest cricket competitions in the world. Against all odds and expectations, the team triumphed in the 2019 Heavy Woolen Cup, beating some of the best teams in Yorkshire along the way and led by captain Greg Wood, who put in a match-winning batting performance. Victory against Castleford-based Townville was especially sweet, as Shepley had lost to them twice before in the Heavy Woolen Cup. Chairman David Hall said, "We achieved our success because of a fantastic team spirit and the never-say-die attitude of all the team. Shepley Cricket Club is very much part of our village community and is operated entirely by a hard-working band of volunteers. It's days like the final that makes all this effort worthwhile." And to reveal the winner, here's my old mate from the Examiner, sports editor Mel Booth.
Thanks, Andy. A tough choice with 3 brilliant nominees, but the judges were impressed with how this team has not only bounced back from the brink of extinction, but has gone on to create history. The sports team of the year is Linthwaite Athletic Football Club.
Good evening, Alan. How does that feel?
It feels absolutely superb. 4 years of hard work, finishing with winning the first division in the Barlow Cup, starting a second team last season, we started a third team as well. We could possibly start a fourth team again this year. So it's credit to every single one of our players that have joined in, fundraised to get us back where we are now. So it's a credit to the players and the committee that have got us to where we are now.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bringing some youngsters through. I mean, it must be is it a challenge getting them interested in football? After all, there's you're competing against the likes of Xbox and all the countless hours that they spend on there. I know from personal experience.
Our third team consists of 17, 18-year-olds. We've managed to get them away from Xbox and girlfriends and various other things. So they're well on board now and are pushing our second team. Some of them are actually pushing our first team this year.
Yeah.
So most of our players are actually training at the moment. So unfortunately, they'll find out about this later on our group chats. So
excellent. Well done. Keep up good work. 12 games unbeaten. See what the next season brings. I take it this one's come to a premature halt. So you're unbeaten for the entire season then, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have reached our 6th category of the evening, which is the sports personality. And the 3 nominees who have all overcome adversity are Fez Batista, Kane Taylor, and Katie Omerod. Let's hear first about Fez. When Fez suffered terrible racial abuse, he fought back, but not on the streets. For he channeled all his energy into boxing and is now so good he's being guided by US boxing legend Roy Jones Jr., who held several light heavyweight titles. Fez is also an anti-bullying ambassador for the World Boxing Council. The 30-year-old from Crossland Moor was nominated by friend Tony Goldstein, who said, Fez has overcome adversity to reach amazing international heights and still has so much more to achieve. He has Huddersfield ingrained in his heart and is so passionate about our town from both a business and a local community perspective. When he's home in Huddersfield, Fez spends his time delivering speeches on anti-bullying in our local schools and has donated an award to schools to give out to young students who epitomise Fez's beliefs in equality at all levels. He is a wonderfully grounded community ambassador.
Okay, our second nominee is Kane Taylor. Kane became a wrestling champion just months after he was struck down with pneumonia, sepsis and swine flu that left him fighting for life. Kane, who's 6'7" tall, was in hospital a month, yet showed his true battling spirit to not only survive, but then quickly get back to training and was back wrestling within 10 weeks of being discharged from hospital. The 16-year-old former Honley High pupil from Meltham made his wrestling debut aged just 13 at Huddersfield Town Hall and won the UK Wrestling TV Championship 3 years later. He now helps train young wrestlers and some of his bouts are charity fundraisers. His dad, Aaron Taylor, said, Kane has continued to progress and entertain people of all ages, helping to raise money for charities along the way. He showed such immense courage and determination to get himself fit again after his severe illness.
Last but not least, Katie Omerod. Katie made history by becoming a world champion just 2 years after a cruel injury forced her out of the Olympics. The Team GB snowboarder from Brighouse had gone into the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyongyang, South Korea as a medal favourite, but suffered a broken wrist and then, I hope you're not eating your pizza right now, split her heel in 2 during training, which needed emergency surgery. But in her first full season back after those injuries, she won a world title, making her the first British woman to win a World Cup title on snow and the first ever British snowboarder. Katie, who has also suffered serious injuries to her shoulder and knee, competes in big air and slopestyle events. Big air is just one jump where competitors work in as many flips, spins and tricks as they can. Slopestyle involves obstacles and jumps, and this is what she triumphed in the World Cup competition. Her next goal is the Beijing 2020 Olympics. Here to reveal the winner is the General Manager of Events for the Examiner, Katie Isaacson.
Thanks, Nina. I'm delighted to present this award on behalf of Perry's Huddersfield. 3 very heartwarming stories of Huddersfield athletes who have shown great mental strength and courage to make fantastic comebacks in the face of adversity. But for becoming a world champion and making history in the sport of snowboarding, the Sports Personality Award goes to Katie Ormerod.
Katie, many congratulations. Look, I've been snowboarding for 17 years, so you are a personal hero of mine. It must feel incredible to be putting the sport on the map for Team GB. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Obviously, coming from Britain, where we don't have any like mountains or snow resorts, and to prove to everyone else in Britain that you can come from like riding dry slopes in Yorkshire to then becoming overall World Cup champion. And it takes a lot of determination and hard work. But yeah, I'm hoping that I've inspired lots of people to get into it as well.
Look, I'm sure you have. Look, during lockdown, during this pandemic, how have you been training? When was the last time you were on the snow?
So my last trip was at the start of March, just before lockdown, and then since I've just been doing home workouts. We made the garage into a gym, been doing lots of stretching, getting other people involved with stretching online, so trying to keep active in different ways.
It's just not the same feeling though, is it, as that sweetness of gliding down a slope? When do you hope to get back to the slopes?
As soon as possible, really. We're just waiting for government guidelines to change so that we can go abroad, because most of our training is abroad now, so hopefully sometime soon.
Okay, make me jealous. You might be jetting off somewhere in July, fingers crossed, potentially. Where would you be heading?
Well, usually we would be going to the Southern Hemisphere because it's their winter, but I think this time, because it's obviously different circumstances, we'd probably go to somewhere in Europe, to a glacier, maybe in Switzerland or Italy or somewhere like that.
Or what will it feel like to be out on the snow for the first time after all this? Katie, what will it feel like to be out on the snow for the very first time after all this?
Sorry, I missed that last question.
I just wanted to know what you think it will feel like when you get back on the snow for the first time after all this.
I think it will feel amazing. Obviously, it's been such a long time, like a few months already. So yeah, I just can't wait to be back in the mountains and yeah, have my first run down again.
All the best for 2022. Just quickly, what do your parents and family think of you doing this sport that has caused you so much injury?
They're so supportive. I mean, my parents were the people that got me into it in the first place when I was just 5. So yeah, they love it and love that I've taken it so far. So yeah, they're really supportive, yeah.
Katie, have a brilliant night, an incredibly worthy winner in a really tough category, and all the best for the next Winter Olympics. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we've now reached the midway point, and I think you'd agree that there's been some fantastic awards so far, but there are plenty more to come. So moving on to our 7th category, it's Community Group of the Year, and the shortlist is Friends of Batley Library, Sarah's Wish for Kirkwood, and the Nick Smith Foundation. So we'll begin with the Friends of Batley Library. The years of austerity put libraries under threat of closure like never before, and many have needed the community to rally round them. That's certainly the case in Batley, where the Friends of Batley Library have created a range of activities and events ranging from Eid parties to Edwardian days that attract all sections of the local diverse community through the doors. They fund their many activities through book sales manned and organised by the volunteers both in the library and at Batley events such as Vintage Day and Batley Festival. Volunteer Mohammed Salou said, "The Friends of Batley Library work closely with the library staff and together have delivered a library the town can not only feel proud of but enhances the lives of so many people, from children to pensioners, from different faiths, races and genders, and from varying interests. The Friends are a wonderful group of dedicated volunteers who continue to make a difference to people's lives."
Sarah's wish for Kirkwood. Sarah Green had a special wish during her final days at Kirkwood Hospice. She wanted her family and friends to raise money for a place that had cared for her so well. The Murfield mum lost her battle with cancer a few days later in January 2018, aged just 44, leaving behind husband Matt, children Sam, Josh and Rebecca. Sarah's Wish was set up by a group of friends led by Nikki Horn and Kate Faulkner, and in June 2018, the first Sarah's Wish Family Fun Day raised £12,800. The second year was a bigger event, and they have held other fundraisers, including a masquerade ball. During lockdown, they have had to cancel their annual Family Fun Day, but cleverly adapted their fundraising and have gone online with a virtual 5K challenge and a virtual dog show. It means their overall fundraising total has now topped £30,000.
Our third nominee is the Nick Smith Foundation. Nick Smith's family and friends vowed his legacy would live on after he died from motor neurone disease. And the Nick Smith Foundation has already raised more than £100,000 in just 2 years. Nick of Lightcliffe was just 38 and left behind wife Rachel and young children Hayden and Georgia. The charity in his name, set up by Rachel and brother-in-law Stephen Naylor, has 3 aims. The first is to funding research into motor neurone disease, and the charity has already donated £50,000 towards this. The second is supporting children who have to face the death of a parent at a very young age. And the third aim is encouraging more young people to play rugby league, as Nick captained the Siddle Rugby League team in Halifax for many years. Trustee Stephen Naylor said, "The charity is run entirely by volunteers, including many of Nick's family and friends who have put a huge amount of time, effort and commitment into both setting up the charity and then running it for the good of others." So there you have it, 3 brilliant nominees again. And to reveal the winner, here is the Sales Director of Reach PLC Northwest, Tom Hart.
Thanks, Andy. 3 outstanding groups, but the winner is the one that has raised a massive amount of money for medical research in a very short space of time. This has been done whilst also setting up vital community projects. And the winner is the Nick Smith Foundation.
Okay, now unfortunately they can't join us this evening, but check the website out. They've got a website, all the information about the charities on there, and really have a good look, because there's 3 rugby playing teenagers who are going to run 48 kilometres in 48 hours to raise money for the foundation, and they've also got exciting news on there about how they're helping patients with motor neurone disease in Calderdale and Huddersfield. So please give the website a look. Thank you.
Yeah, big congratulations to the foundation there. We've reached our 8th category, which is the Courage Award. And the 3 finalists are Jack Mitchell, Kevin Marriott and Natasha Spichalski. Let's first turn our attention to Jack Mitchell. Jack donated half of his liver to a complete stranger to give him the most precious gift of all, the gift, of course, of life. His recipient, 24-year-old Connor Neville from Murfield, had been unable to find a suitable match among friends and family, so his sister Alex issued an impassioned plea on Facebook last summer when his health started to deteriorate, and Jack, well, he responded. The surgery for Jack lasted almost 9 hours and has left him with a lengthy scar. Jack, who is 26, is a primary school teacher from Dewsbury, and he was nominated by his friend Joanne Richardson, who said, "This was such a selfless, heroic, courageous and ultimately life-saving act." Jack and Connor have now become good friends, and Connor says, "Jack is my hero now. He saved my life."
Okay, our second nominee is Kevin Marriott. Now, when van driver Kevin saw a crash car burst into flames, he sprang straight into action, never once stopping to think about his own safety. The courageous Sainsbury's delivery driver was one of the first on the scene after the BMW crashed on Penistone Road, Fennybridge in October 2019. Kevin, who lives in Home Firth, used his van's extinguisher and another from a nearby pub to knock down the flames to save the life of the driver, who was trapped and badly injured in the wreckage. He survived thanks to Kevin. Freight Trade Association spokesman Kevin Green said, "Kevin showed unbelievable ingenuity, bravery and perseverance in the face of adversity. While van drivers play a vital role in our society, too often their contributions are undervalued. Kevin is a shining example of how they can be some of the most hardworking, dedicated and selfless people in the UK.
Natasha Spichalski. Natasha has courageously spoken out about the misunderstood medical condition ME. She was struck down by glandular fever when she was 17, leaving her with serious symptoms that took away all her energy. Natasha was eventually diagnosed with ME, commonly known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and also suffers from fibromyalgia, a long-term condition causing pain across her whole body. Her condition is incurable. There is no effective treatment. Natasha of Balstamore is 26. She shared her story to help people understand that not every disability is visible and to have compassion for others who may be struggling with something you cannot see. Natasha says people's reaction to her condition is even worse than the pain and the fatigue. She said, "I want people to listen. People know what ME is, but they make assumptions that it's just tiredness. It is much more than that. You don't know what people are going through just by looking at them." Here to reveal the winner is the City Manager at City Fibre, Stephen Moore.
Good evening and thank you, Nina. The winner of this year's awards has demonstrated immense courage and incredible humanity in donating half of their liver to a complete stranger. The winner of this year's Courage Award is Jack Mitchell.
Jack, congratulations. I tell you what, when we do these awards normally, what we don't see is the winners' reactions. We obviously get you on stage and that's a brilliant moment in itself. But just seeing the surprise on your face there, you weren't expecting that.
Well, everyone on here has obviously done something amazing themselves, so it's just humble to be even a finalist, and I think, like everyone has said, we're all kind of worthy of it, but this is just for me kind of like the icing on the cake a little bit. It's really nice.
Look, take us back to that moment. We all spend hours on social media just going like that, looking through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. And this post stopped you in your tracks. How long from seeing the post and that appeal to you making a decision, do you know what, I'm going to volunteer to do this?
I think I'm quite impulsive anyway, to be honest, but I more or less made the decision straight away. But obviously I took a couple of days to think about it. And then that's when I just got in touch with St. James's Hospital and the liver unit and Connor's sister Alex. And then before you know it, the ball got rolling and here we are a few months later.
Most people who have an impulsive moment might go and buy a new T-shirt or a pair of shoes, not get a major organ. I think it's the biggest internal organ chopped in half. What was it like to meet Connor?
The first day that I met Connor and his family was actually really nice because I just went round to his house and it was before the surgery, and actually I'm told quite an unusual situation because being an altruistic donor, I wouldn't normally have met the person I was donating the liver to. So I went to his house, met his mum, his sisters. It was really nice. So yeah. And has it given you a free pass with all your friends and family that you might do something that's a little bit bad, but you can get away with absolutely everything because of what you've done? Well, I mean, I might occasionally play the liver card, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, they've all kind of come out to say how proud they are of me and things, and that makes me feel better.
Look, the whole town is proud of you. Jack, have a brilliant rest of evening and just massive congratulations. What a hero.
Thank you.
Great stuff from Jack there. Right, our 9th category is services to the community, and the 3 nominees are Gerald Parr, Huddersfield Feral and Strays Cat Rescue, and the Yorkshire Mentoring Reach Out Project. And we'll start this one with Gerald Parr. In 1964, Gerald joined Underbank Rangers Rugby League Club in Holmfirth, and ever since then has completely transformed it. As chairman, he doubled the size of the clubhouse, negotiating the first major grant of £10,000 to an amateur rugby league club from the Sports Council, a trailblazing move which many other rugby league clubs have then followed. He brought in ex-professional rugby league coaches to coach Underbank and has coached junior and women's sides himself. Gerald, who's now 73, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning that, chaired Home Valley Sports Council for many years and served on several committees at Meltham Golf Club, where he has won numerous trophies and was captain at the club while battling cancer and suffering from a severe shoulder injury. Gerald is now working on another improvement and modernisation scheme at Underbank, and to round the story off, Underbank Rangers have now been promoted to the Premier Division of the Rugby League's National Conference League, which has made Gerald a very happy man.
And so it should. Our next nominee is Huddersfield Feral and Stray Cats Rescue. Huddersfield Feral and Stray Cats Rescue have saved more than 1,500 cats in just 3 years. It started when 4 cat lovers met through a Facebook post to help trap, neuter and rehome a colony of stray and feral cats in the Springwood area, but it soon became clear that the problem was far larger across Huddersfield. The charity is now dedicated to helping all stray and unwanted cats and kittens in the area, vaccinating, neutering, microchipping and rehoming cats while promoting responsible ownership. No cat is ever turned away by the charity, and their vet bills last year were a staggering £130,000, paid for, of course, by donations and fundraising. The 4 co-founders are Jamie DiGiorgio, Sally Fletcher, Danielle Boys and Emma Hansen, and the group has now got a dedicated team of fosterers who help with the group's rehoming programme and volunteers who help with the fundraising and awareness.
OK, moving on to our third nominee in the category. It's Yorkshire Mentoring Reach Out Project. Now, these are volunteers who really do change young people's lives. The Yorkshire Mentoring Reach Out Project began last year with the aim of diverting youngsters away from crime and gangs. The project's coordinator in Kirklees, Emma Thornton, said all young people referred to the project live in the area and are either at risk of, involved with, or vulnerable to crime and gang affiliation. The role of our excellent mentors is to provide positive one-to-one support for that young person with the aim of helping them to make better life choices. Just one mentor, Daniel Primus, and that's Daniel on the picture, has helped more than 13 youngsters over the last year and takes a lead role in the project's knife crime reduction workshops. Emma added, the work of all our mentors undertake is invaluable for many young people as it gives them access to explore new opportunities which otherwise they wouldn't have experienced. So again, 3 wonderful nominees, and to reveal the winner, here is Gareth Davies, Managing Director of Kirklees Stadium Development Limited.
Thank you, Andy. The winner of this award is someone who has dedicated themselves to enhancing their community through sport for well over 50 years. The services to the Community Award goes to Gerald Parr.
Good evening, Gerald. A nice big smile.
Andy. Thank you.
Excellent. So, Underbank Rangers, going back to the mid-1960s, and you're still thinking of improving it. What's your next plans?
Yeah, we have plans of putting a filming gantry onto the clubhouse so the matches can be filmed, and we've lost out on a couple of fixtures being on televised because we haven't the facilities to give them. This is one of the items on the agenda. We're going through the changing rooms, bringing them into the 20th century, 21st century, with a new kitchen, new toilets, and really putting a new touch to the changing rooms, to the club, the changing rooms and the club that have been there since 1980 when we first opened the new extension of the club.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, you obviously love sport. I mean, why do you...
I love sport. Cricket, football, cricket and tennis, rugby league. I will throw in and watch it on television. I only buy my Sky Sports for rugby league and cricket, which is second in my list of favourite sports.
Well, what's your top one?
Rugby league.
Rugby league every time, is it?
Yeah, and of course, I've not to leave the golf club out of that. I've spent a lot of time at the golf club over the last 20 years, being asked to be captain in 2017, which was one of the best years in my golfing career.
Right.
It was really exciting and rewarding.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Well done, Gerald. Very well deserved. All the best to you.
If I can just, before I go, thank Richard Smith for nominating me for this award, who is the chairman of Underbank Rugby League Club and a great stalwart. And I'm sure he'll be getting this award in a few years' time. He's a great man.
Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, no problem. That's great. Okay, all the best.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that was the biggest smile of the night so far. Let's see if our next nominees can better it. We've reached our 10th category, which is services to charity. Prepare to meet three very special ladies who are doing so much for the community. The nominees are Dee Cobbett, Jill Greaves, and Hilary Livingston. Dee is so dedicated to raising money for Kirkwood Hospice, she even set up her own support group, which has raised more than £90,000. The hospice has cared for her relatives and friends, so she's been fundraising for it for 30 years, starting with the support group Coffee Mornings in 1990 before joining the Dalton support group. In 2012, she set up her own support group, and with selflessness, hard work and dedication has built up a team of volunteers who help her with the never-ending fundraising and ongoing support for Kirkwood. Kirkwood Hospice volunteer and fundraiser Julia Owen said, Dee has made a measurable impact for Kirkwood over the last 30 years as a volunteer, a support group leader, a mentor and a role model. It's hard to put into words the passion that Dee has for supporting Kirkwood.
Moving on to our second nominee, it's Jill Greaves. Now, more than 10,000 people have a special reason to thank Jill. For back in 2010, she set up a project called Street Bikes with one simple aim, to provide free bikes to people who couldn't afford them. Since then, Street Bikes has recycled more than 10,000 bikes and has improved the health and well-being of hundreds of people of all abilities through cycling. Jill has recently stepped down from her role leading Street Bikes to care for her sister Susan, who has learning disabilities, but has left a legacy that will now carry on, helping thousands more people. Street Bikes has received 2 rounds of lottery funding and is estimated to have brought more than £1 million into the local economy since it started. Jill said, I started Street Bikes as I'm passionate in giving everyone, whatever their ability, race, age or gender, equal opportunities in life. I am so proud to have made such an impression on people and to see them happier.
Last but not least, Hilary Livingston. Hilary wanted to help a charity when she retired, and she ended up in a managing role for one and completely turning another around after it was in danger of folding. She is now voluntary secretary for the West Yorkshire branch of the Soldiers, Sailors, Airmen and Families Association, managing more than 30 caseworkers who help veterans in need after falling on hard times. Since 2016, Hilary has been a trustee of the Eleanor Hurst Trust, which owns 6 Grade 2 listed almshouses in Wiltshire near Home Firth, and with help from the fellow trustee Dan Bamforth, saved the trust from a precarious financial position and renovated the almshouses, which were in a poor state of repair. Dan said Hilary is simply the most wonderful, kind, caring and considerate person. Despite being retired, she is most definitely anything but, putting the needs of others first always. She is such an inspiration to myself and others. If there were more people like her, the world would be a better place. Look, I think you agree that all 3 of these ladies are very special people who deserve everyone's thanks for the work they have done for so many over so very many years. There is one winner, though. To tell us who has won, here is Caroline Lee from 117 Charitable Trust.
Thanks, Nina. 3 brilliant ladies doing truly amazing things within the community, and each is a worthy winner. A very difficult choice for the judges, but for coming up with such a unique project and then taking it to such a successful level. We're delighted to announce the winner of the Services to Charity Award is Jill Greaves.
Jill, very many congratulations. Look, we're in the middle of a global pandemic and we're trying not to use public transport. And one way for some people to do that is to walk, and another way is to get on a bike. You were really ahead of your time, weren't you, in terms of the benefits of cycling to the individual and also to the whole planet. Incredible.
Yes, I'm just passionate about changing people's lives for the better, whatever their ability or how they are financially. My sister's autistic with learning disabilities, and this week she's been cycling to the shops on a trike because she's a shielded person in lockdown, and it's really helping her with her mental health. We've helped lots of people with mental health problems, severe disabilities, who have positive changes totally in their life. And street bikes are currently giving away bikes to NHS staff to help them with their mental health while they cope with the COVID-19.
Look, for anyone who's watching tonight who hasn't taken up cycling at any point since perhaps they were a child, take us through what just having that independence means to everybody, as you say, from anybody, whatever their situation, including people with any kind of mental health problem.
Being outside on a bike has changed so many people's lives. Even tonight, even though I'm not part of the charity anymore because I'm looking after my sister, has texted me to say he's been down the Greenway on a bike, and it's really changed his mental health from being really low to being really happy. And the bike is just the vehicle to make changes to people's lives.
How are you going to celebrate this win this evening?
We've got some champagne.
Look, you deserve it.
So happy. I'm
Enjoy
so proud.
it. You've made an incredible difference in an incredible decade for what you set up. So congratulations, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you, the Examiner.
Okay, very well deserved. The champagne is going to be on ice and it's going to be drunk very shortly by the sounds of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, moving on to our 11th category. It's Community Project of the Year. And the three nominees are Paddock Community Trust, Huddersfield Christmas Dinner, and the Little Big Sleep Out by the Huddersfield Town Foundation. Now we'll start this one with Paddock Community Trust. When Kirklees Council announced it could no longer afford to run Paddock Village Hall, a group of community-minded people saw this as an opportunity to turn it into a real community hub. And what they have achieved is changing lives not only in Paddock, but across Kirklees. The hall is now managed by the Paddock Community Trust charity, and its 15 employees and 40 volunteers run services specialising in adult learning while helping people who are out of work and on benefits into employment, training or volunteering. It even operates 15 job clubs across Kirklees. It also runs a social club, a gardening club and a cafe at Paddock Village Hall. The Trust Managing Director, Simon Ashby, says its success is all down to the dedication of the Trust staff. He said, "We have a great team of advisors who really go out of their way to help people."
Huddersfield Christmas Dinner. Huddersfield Christmas Dinner gives young people leaving care a very special memory. The idea originally came from the brilliant poet Lem Sissay for communities nationwide to provide a Christmas day for care leavers aged between 18 and 25 after he was brought up by foster parents and then children's homes. A small group formed in Huddersfield last September with the tough target of organising and fundraising for the first one in Kirklees in just 3 months. They succeeded with 65 volunteers staging the event featuring food, gifts and fun for 20 young care leavers and are planning to organise an even bigger one for this Christmas. Volunteer Amanda Crowther said, "The idea is to create a home-from-home Christmas day for anyone who has been in care aged between 18 and 25. often these young people get thrust into the big bad world alone, and Christmas is a really lonely time for them. It's all about creating an atmosphere to make them feel like a family again.
Our third nominee is The Little Big Sleep Out by the Huddersfield Town Foundation. Now, The Little Big Sleep Out gave children aged 10 and 11 an insight into homelessness they'll long remember. For Year 6 pupils from 3 Huddersfield primary schools spent the night sleeping under cardboard at the John Smith Stadium as part of a project on homelessness. The idea came from Huddersfield Town Foundation's Premier League Primary Stars programme, which sees qualified coaches supporting teachers to provide English, maths, PE and personal, social and health education lessons. All the youngsters also had to provide a food parcel for homeless people. Huddersfield Town Foundation fundraising coordinator Lisa Bottomley said the Little Big Sleep Out project left the children feeling a great sense of achievement. Pupils continued to act on their experiences and knowledge through lessons and assemblies once they returned to school, creating a legacy of action towards homelessness. So there you have our 3 nominations, and to reveal the winner, here is Helen Lewis, partner and head of family law at Ramsden's Solicitors.
Thank you, Andy. The winner of the Community Project of the Year has had a major impact on the community across Kirklees, enhancing hundreds of lives while helping countless back into education or work. The winner is Paddock Community Trust.
Okay, now we're apparently having 1 or 2 problems reaching Richard, so I'll just throw a question out to him and see if we get a response at all. Just wondered, Richard, have you any idea how many people you've helped into employment, training or volunteering in the time you've been up and running?
It must be thousands. We've helped people across all of Kirklees. We have a lot of work in relation to IT skills and in relation to employment skills. So as I say, it must be thousands of people we've helped over the years.
And you've obviously got a dedicated band of volunteers. Just give us an idea of the scope of the things that they do and how many you've got.
Well, we have a large number of volunteers. It's difficult to say the exact number, probably in the sort of 50, 60 region. We have a small community allotments, so that's where people volunteer and help people with disabilities. So there's raised beds there. We have in the building itself, in Paddock Village Hall, we have an IT suite. So that's where we help volunteers helping people with IT skills. And then we have various things like a community library and other things where people can come in and use the building and feel part of the community.
I mean, it's a brilliant community project, and it's just rolled out, hasn't it? It's just rolled across Kirklees now. Did you have that in mind when you started, or has it just naturally evolved like that?
It's evolved. I think it's basically that success breeds success. We have been very successful in the projects we deliver, that all of them have been successful, all of them have delivered on their what they set out to do. And I think that's what happens, that we've been successful. There's a proven track record there, so that people do come to us and we bid for project funding, and we're successful because of that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for all you do, both in Paddock and across Kirklees. That's Richard Guthrie. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see him. He just had problems with his camera, but the sound was working, which is brilliant. So well done again.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Our penultimate category is Community Group of the Decade, and the 3 nominees are One Community Foundation Kirklees, Rudy's Retreat and the Welcome Centre. We'll start this one with One Community Foundation Kirklees. Businesses and individuals make donations to the foundation, and the income this £3 million generates is given away to charities, community groups and people in crisis across Kirklees. It has donated more than £1 million since 2010, and the foundation set up an emergency coronavirus fund for groups helping the vulnerable and those most in need, giving out 65 grants in 1 month alone, totalling more than £120,000. Its Community Commitment Service scheme encourages businesses to donate time, skills and people to help charities or community groups, saving them thousands of pounds. Emma Woods-Bolger from the charity said, the foundation has supported hundreds of charitable groups, often supporting those small but vital ones which cannot access funding from larger funders. In turn, this support has helped thousands of people locally. Many small charities and community groups would not survive without their help.
Okay, moving on to our second nominee, and it's Rudy's Retreat. Life is incredibly traumatic for families caring for a child with a serious or terminal illness, and many of them need a break so they can spend some precious family time together. Ali Waterworth knew this all too well when her son Rudy was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and the children's cancer charity Candlelighters gave the family a week's holiday at Primrose Valley Caravan Park in Filey. Now, it inspired Ali to set up the Rudy's Retreat charity, which now has 4 caravans in Filey and has helped more than 1,000 families to have free holidays there over the years, and that's including the families of people with dementia illnesses. Fundraiser Simone Kane says 12-year-old Rudy remains at the charity's heart, and she said he helps out with the charity and fundraising in any way he can. That's bagpacking, helping on stalls and capturing the audience attention, as he knows firsthand how important the charity is to those families who need a break and to have precious memories with loved ones who are struggling and going through serious and life-limiting illnesses.
The Welcome Centre. The centre on Lord Street in Huddersfield is a food bank helping people in crisis who are referred to it from more than 100 organisations in Kirklees, and is run by a small team helped by 100 dedicated volunteers. In 2019, the Welcome Centre distributed 14,159 crisis support packs, of which 9,268 were food packs, supporting 4,258 people, including 1,328 children. The number of food packs distributed breaks down to an astonishing 239,611 meals. An estimated 90% of the food is donated by kind-hearted people, businesses, schools and churches. It really is an enormous effort from across the Huddersfield community. The centre also provides practical support, including an advocacy, guidance and support worker who works closely with people to help tackle the underlying issues that have led them to be in such a dire need and help them get back on their feet. The Welcome Centre fundraising manager, Emma Greenhouse, said, "We do what we can to prevent a short-term crisis turning into long-term poverty." To announce the winner is the Examiner editor, Wayne Ankers.
Area is so lucky to have 3 such exceptional charities and a very tough decision for the judges. But the winner is one which countless people in the wider community helped so that it can provide essentials for those in desperate need at dire times in our lives. The winner is the Welcome Centre.
Emma, a big thank you for all the work the Welcome Centre has done so far. Certainly there was a need for food banks across the country before the coronavirus crisis. The crisis has led to an increased demand. What can people who are already helping you and people who haven't perhaps yet do in terms of this thing about trying to prevent a short-term crisis, this one we're living through right now? How can they help to stop that turning into long-term poverty?
Well, the best thing you can do for the Welcome Centre is to kind of donate to us wherever they can. We've been seeing such an outpouring of people support us during this period, popping into the supermarkets to drop a tin. They've been text donating, setting up standing orders, and many local businesses have made massive donations to us as well. So supporting us, whether we're in a crisis ourselves or not, it's really, really important to just continuously show your support, because you never know, it could be your neighbour, somebody just down the road from you who's going through that.
Yeah, and we don't know who it's going to impact yet, do we? Are you braced for the problems getting worse? And do you think there's a very great sense of trying to help each other through this at the moment, and we've seen that for the past 3 months. Do you think eventually that might drift a little because people will be trying to sort out their own lives and their own jobs and professions and children's education? Or do you think we'll keep that sense of however we're doing, we must turn to see however other people are doing and help them?
I think we saw a massive spike in April of the amount of people needing to use our service, and it has levelled out a little bit now. But like you say, when furlough schemes, etc., stop, I think we're going to see, you know, an increase again. And what we have noticed that I think is more and more people recognise that it really could just be you. It so easily happen to any of us. So I think actually in the future, I think that support will continue, because the reality of who needs to use a food bank, I think, has become a lot more personal to more people.
Yeah, absolutely. What will this award mean tonight for the whole team?
Well, this is our third appearance at the awards. We've been with Harvest Hood 1 year, with Marshfest last year, so third time lucky. I think the volunteers and the trustees will be absolutely delighted with this, as will our supporters as well. So a massive thank you to all of those, because the volunteers and trustees are what allow us to do what we do.
Trust you to have such great success on the night we're doing all this digitally, but I'm sure you can have a big celebration in the weeks, months to come, and when you can officially all get together and celebrate. A big congratulations, Emma.
Thank you.
Right, to the final award of the evening, the Achievement Award. It's a biggie, so be braced for that, I'm sure. It goes to the 6,000 staff at Calderdale and Huddersfield NHS Foundation Trust. I'm sure you can appreciate why. Here is Carl Sykes from the executive sponsor Syngenta to tell us about the incredible, the fantastic work all the people who make up that trust has done over the past 3 months during the biggest challenge ever to face the NHS.
Thank you, Nina. In Huddersfield and Calderdale, we are incredibly lucky to have such brilliant NHS staff who are going above and beyond the call of duty every day to provide the very best care during the coronavirus crisis. That's why this year's Huddersfield Examiner and Syngenta Achievement Award is going to the staff of Calderdale and Huddersfield NHS Foundation Trust for the outstanding care given at both Huddersfield Royal Infirmary and the Calderdale Royal Hospital, and by their staff who also work in the community. The magnificent team effort has involved hundreds of doctors, nurses, therapists, community and support staff. Many have learned new skills at very short notice to be able to join colleagues in the fight against the coronavirus, being redeployed to areas such as the 2 intensive care units, respiratory and elderly wards, along with accident and emergency. Very sadly, just over 150 patients have passed away at the 2 hospitals, leaving so many families devastated and grieving. And more than 350 patients who were admitted for the coronavirus received care and treatment, often over many weeks, who recovered and returned to good health and returned to their families. Behind the scenes, so much has been done, such as the setting up of 2 extra accident and emergency departments so that patients with COVID-19 could be cared for separately from those without COVID-19 symptoms as soon as they arrived at hospital. And the Trust also set up virtual visiting through iPads and mobile phones, which meant that the families could see and talk to their loved ones, sometimes at the most traumatic times in their lives. So please, everyone join me in thanking all of the 6,000 NHS staff who've done so much for so many others in the most extreme and I expect the most scary and distressing of circumstances. The 2020 Huddersfield Examiner and Syngenta Achievement Award goes to all the staff at Calderdale and Huddersfield NHS Foundation Trust. We sincerely thank you for your continued work.
Yeah, we sincerely do, of course. Now, Katie Isaacson and the team here in this secret lockdown location would have loved, with the power of the magnificent Zoom, to get all 6,000 people here tonight, to be congratulated. We couldn't quite manage it. I'm sure Katie tried, but we have got 3 representatives of the NHS Trust to speak to tonight. Let me introduce you to microbiologist Anu Rajgopal, respiratory doctor Rehan Nazir, and and NHS driver Richard Hincliffe. Welcome both, welcome all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Naz, if I can start with you, Naz, how's it been? What's the past 3 months been like for you?
I think it's been very, very difficult. It's obviously unprecedented times. It's a disease that we know very little about, are still trying to understand. It's been very difficult, but what I have been impressed by is how everybody's come together, the whole trust, every single person has come together to achieve great things together as a trust.
Were there times you were scared? You know, doctors are a profession that keep calm, do not panic, but when we were seeing the scenes that were coming out of Italy, this country was behind Italy, it felt at times like the NHS could potentially be overwhelmed. Was that difficult when you first started to see patients arriving who were testing positive for COVID?
Yeah, I think it was very difficult. We were anxious, we were fearful, we didn't know what was going to happen. And at times during the crisis, we've often questioned ourselves, you know, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing what's right for the patients? And it's been very difficult and frightening, but I think as a team, we've supported each other and we've got through together as a team.
What was it like? What is it like to wear the PPE? You know, we've got one of the hottest days of the year right now. That hasn't stopped people within those hospitals having to wear the full kit and caboodle, not just like for half an hour on the train, but for their entire shift.
It's been very hard, especially with the hot weather. You're sweating, you've got multiple layers on, and the important thing is trying to support each other and take breaks when we can, stay rehydrated. But it's been very, very difficult, especially with the hot weather. But we've worked together and had to do what we've had to do.
And Naz, that's the kind of physical aspect of wearing the masks and everything. What about the fact that it impacted how you could talk to patients, some of them dying? You know, we heard from Carl there about having to speak with relatives via iPads and all at the same time having your faces covered.
I think that's been one of the most difficult things, is you're trying to communicate with patients. Patients are frightened. You've got this PPE equipment on, you're trying to communicate with them, which has been very difficult. You've not, you know, loved ones have been unable to see them in person. And that's been very, very hard. And I think it's been mentally draining on everyone, and it's been extremely hard.
Yeah, we haven't even begun to look at the mental health impact of what you guys have been doing for all of us yet. I think that's something that needs to be focused on at some point in the future, doesn't it? Anu, if I can turn to you, how critical has your role been within the foundation as a microbiologist in you know, this time of, you know, we've been warned, haven't we, that we might see a coronavirus pandemic, and bang, start of January it was somewhere else, and then all of a sudden it was here.
Yeah, Nina, it's been, I'm also the infection control doctor in the trust, so I've been involved at an early stage. It's been quite a challenge to keep changing depending on how the pandemic is shaping in our area, in our country. The guidance has changed as the virus has evolved, as the situation has evolved. So we've got to respond really quickly, sometimes within days. Complete change guidance, really. We started off testing patients who had a history of travel and had some clinical symptoms. We had just a coronavirus pod in Huddersfield. And that suddenly, within a matter of weeks, we were testing anybody coming into the hospital with any respiratory infection. And then we saw that massive surge in the first 2 weeks of April. The PPE guidance, infection control guidance, again, has changed with good reason, because you know the situation in the country has evolved. But we've done really well. I think as a team, we've had, as a trust, we've worked really well in communicating all these changes to our staff, ensuring that all our frontline staff get PPE. Really proud to say that we've not had a situation where PPE hasn't been available. Nationally, sometimes it's been very close. We don't get our stock, you know, and we know that only the night before. But we've managed to do it for all our staff. Our staff have been fantastic. It's very difficult when you have such a challenging time. You know, you're going through such a challenging time, but at the same time, you have to make sure that you're keeping patients safe, you're keeping your colleagues safe, you're keeping yourself safe. So you've got to really be able to adapt very quickly. And it's great to be recognized really in the community that all our staff, and every one of them, medics, nursing colleagues, therapists, community staff, other support staff, all come together. And I'm really proud to be a part of that team.
Yeah, you should be, definitely. In terms of you mentioning there about keeping yourself safe and colleagues safe, how challenging was that? Because this emergency services, not like the police, not like firefighters, you go to work to save others. You don't put your own lives on the line when you normally do that under normal circumstances. In this situation, especially at the beginning, especially when there were concerns about PPE, and then when there were the concerns that are ongoing about anyone from an ethnic minority, especially working on the front line. I mean, just aspects of the job that you would have never, ever had to deal with before. How challenging has that been?
It has been challenging, but I have to say it's a really open culture in the trust. I'm from the BAME community. I've had colleagues. Anxieties have been dealt with. There's people to speak to. There's well-being teams in the trust who go around every day supporting teams on the front line. They visit all the ward areas, ED. So there's been a lot of support from the trust. Anxieties are there. It's quite natural. You are a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a professional, but at the same time, you're a mother, you're a father. You've got family members at home who are shielded, vulnerable. And the important thing is that you've got to express the anxiety. You've got to be there for each other. You've got to be able to recognize that a colleague is anxious. Support them. Make sure that they're taking adequate breaks, as Naz has said. And even for I think. You mentioned that it was difficult, especially with COVID. It's very difficult where you can't really console your patients. You can't console their family members in ways that we've always done so. The Trust digital team came together. We had a lot of virtual visiting. We've had virtual clinics. And it's really evolved in the last 3-4 months. So it's been a rapid learning curve for everybody. There has been a lot of support within the Trust. I think we've coped really well. It's not over yet. It continues to be challenging. And as Naz mentioned, we don't know what's in store. We are still learning a lot about the virus. But, it has, from doing our tests in-house, we started doing 30, 40 tests per day. We're up 200, 250 tests in-house. The lab staff have had to learn how to do this. Sometimes they stay till 1 o'clock in the morning doing tests so that we get the results. We can act on them very quickly, make sure infection doesn't transmit within the hospital. It is really a team effort. It's not just one department or an individual.
Yeah.
All of us coming together.
And no real respite in sight. 6,000 NHS staff, not all on the medical front line. Let's speak to Richard now, NHS driver. Richard, there's a cliche, isn't there, about going the extra mile, but apparently you went several miles to help out with PPE. What's the story there? What did you do? Richard, I don't know if you're on mute, because we can't hear you. Just have a fiddle, just in case you are. I can't lip read and I can't hear Richard, but what hopefully he's trying to tell us while we try and get him back is that he drove to Brighton and back. Is that overnight? Overnight to do that. And Anu, can you help me out here? Do you know the full story behind Richard's incredible journey?
We had some urgent PPE, which is personal protective equipment, needed picking up from Brighton, and we needed overnight because we were running short the next day. And Richard is one of the examples why we've not had frontline staff short of PPE. He volunteered, no questions asked. He volunteered to drive Brighton and back overnight with the PPE so that it could be used the following day. It's fantastic.
I mean, it is incredible. I think all of you just deserve so much more than this, and hopefully that will be recognised by the government. And obviously we've had the NHS Clap for Carers. We've got the big anniversary of the NHS to come next week as well. But I think all of us hope that this is a lasting legacy for the NHS and everybody who works in it, especially the Foundation Trust that we're talking about tonight. So thank you very much, one and all. Please sing loud about this award to every single one of your colleagues. And this admiration is not over yet. I think this is just the beginning. So thank you from every one of us here and everyone at the Examiner and everyone across Huddersfield. Amazing work, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's the 21st Examiner Community Awards. It was a great night, don't you think? A different night, but a great night. It was great to see all the nominees on the screen and to speak to the winners. It was a great occasion. Everyone who's been nominated and shortlisted has done our area proud. So just carry on and celebrate your achievements all night if you want. I mean, you've really deserved it. And of course, the bar doesn't shut at home, does it? So there will be a roundup of winners in the Examiner newspaper and on Examiner Live tomorrow, with a bumper 8-page supplement in the paper this Saturday. I'd just like to thank Nina so much for hosting the awards with me again. We think this is our 12th year together. And also to Katie Isaacson from the Examiner events team, who has done so much brilliant organisation with all the nominees and sponsors to make tonight possible, along with the fabulous MSP team that has brought all their high-tech wizardry skills to make it all happen. Also, once again, a huge thank to executive sponsor Syngenta and all our category sponsors for supporting us, especially at such a tough time for everybody. Many thanks for watching from both Nina and myself, and a heartfelt thanks from everyone in the community to all our nominees who do such fantastic work simply out of the goodness of their hearts. It's you and people like you who make Huddersfield such a special place to live and work. So good night to everyone who's been watching, and please take very good care of yourselves. Good night.
Good night.